Hello, one and all. How are you on this great and beautiful Friday afternoon? I hope you are doing well. I am. Uh, I've been out for Black Friday. Not sure whether you may or may not have. I got myself an 8 terabyte hard drive, external hard drive, for only 150 bucks Canadian. So I hope you guys are doing well. Hey, friendly neighborhood ninja. What's up, brother? As I was just saying, I was not sure whether you guys have been out for Black Friday yet, or if you're going out. I got myself an 8 terabyte external hard drive for only 150 bucks plus taxes. So that came out to just under 170. So we're going to start with the first portion of our show, which is reading a portion of Who Needs a Superhero by H. Michael Brewer. Nope, you stay home. Yeah, I wouldn't want to go out in those crowds down in the States. It's not as bad as it is up here. It's not that bad up here, usually. Okay. We are doing Earthy and Root. We are reading the portion having to do with Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman, the power of truth. Okay, so let's see. In Wonder Woman's very first story, she's established as the daughter of the Amazon's Queen Hippolyta. Perhaps you're wondering how a daughter could be born to a queen of an exclusively female society. The answer lies in the peculiar mythology of Paradise Island. Queen Hippolyta fashioned a baby girl from clay, and the Greek gods gave life to the earthen sculpture Diana. Wonder Woman. Diana grew up to be Wonder Woman. More than once, Wonder Woman's enemies have literally turned her back into clay, forcibly reminding the princess of her humble beginnings in every circumstance, challenge, and calling. Diana would do well to remember she is a creature of clay, given the blessing of life by powers higher than her own. Perhaps you and I would also benefit from that particular insight behind the trapping of the Greek mythology story of Wonder Woman's birth calls to mind the account of humanity's creation in the second chapter of Genesis. The Lord formed man from the dust of the ground and breathed into the nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living being. Like Wonder Woman, we too are a creature created from clay. The name of our first father, Adam, derives from the Hebrew word that means ground or earth. Even our English words, human and humble, descend from humus, the Latin word from soil. Driving past the cemetery reminds us of our humble human stature. We came from earth, and when our days are spent, we will return to the earth. This is the truth about who we are. We are living clay. We did not make ourselves. We are not God. We are human beings. We are not the creator. We are merely God's creatures. Unless we grasp this truth, we will inevitably live our lives either in fear or in rebellion. Knowing that we are God's handiwork liberates us from so many lies and falsehoods. Accepting that we are created beings, frees us from the terrible burden of playing God. This is cool. Maybe we can get a reading at Black AF if you don't want to get a quasi strike. What's that? Okay, I'm not sure what you mean exactly there, PS Melter. Okay. Knowing terrible burdens. Terrible burden of playing God. We aren't self-sufficient, and we don't have to be. God gave us life, and God will provide what we need for the fullness of life. Being creatures, being creatures mean we are not expected to save ourselves by our own hard work and goodness. God made us, God loves us, and God will never abandon us. God will freely give salvation to all who seek it from his hand. Living within our limit frees us from taking responsibilities for the actions of others and allows us to be gentle with ourselves when we fall short of what others expect from us. Our neighbors are answerable to the Creator for their own lives. So are we. Although we owe love and support to one another, ultimately God alone can show us who we are meant to be, whether we satisfy the expectations of parents, teachers, preachers, bosses, and spouses is irrelevant. Oh, okay. No problem, P.S. Melter. Okay, that's where I'm going to stop today because this part is like two and a half, three, closer to 3 pages, and I don't want to bore you guys with all this reading. So, a bit of both, P.S. Melter. The book is called Who Needs a Superhero? And it looks at the superheroes through a biblical concept, um, or looks at the. I'm not sure how you'd put it. The tagline at the top of the book there is finding virtue, vice, and what's holy in the comics. I started from the beginning, which were, I'm not sure whether you can see the table of contents there. Superman, the saving sun from above, the Hulk, the monster within, Batman, guilt and grace in Gotham City, Iron Man, salvation by success, Superman revisited, death, resurrection, and doomsday. I'm on Wonder Woman right now. Then we got Thor, Spider Man, Daredevil, the X Men, the Fantastic Four, the Punisher versus Green Arrow, Captain America, the Spirit, and then a superhero self quiz. So we're stopped about halfway through this, from the one thing to the next. So I don't want to bore everybody with all the reading. I got this book quite a few years ago. If you are looking for it, I've seen it on Amazon. So, and I'm going through it bit by bit. I just thought it would make for an interesting read, on my channel because bringing because I'm trying to my comic company is Cross Comics, which is bringing a bit of Christianity into comics. So on with the show, and now we are. I'm going to be. I have previously done some of my characters in Adobe Illustrator, and I am now. And I did use the gradient stuff with them a previous time. Um, so actually, give me a sec. I want to invite a few people in, see whether we can get some people other than me. Oh, that's good. I'm glad you like it. Okay, let's see whether we can get some, like I said, get some people in here to talk with. Thank you. And I try not to be too heavy-handed with my the religious aspect in it because Give me a sec. Okay, it's that charging. Okay, I did something on here. Okay, give me a sec. I want to make sure my battery does not die. Too many wires. Okay, there we go. Problem is solved. We are charging, so we will not die. As soon as I get these links out, we will. Hey, you know what? I'm gonna send one to Pixel. All right. Okay, so there we go. We got a few. Okay. Yeah, now back to the show. Um, how big is your company? Is it just like everyone else, and it's just mainly you and is it just mainly you and your brand? Um, well, basically, it's just me. I've had friends help me in the past. You can do the same thing with Facebook, send the link, but it's a bit harder. Some people can't get on with it. Um, but that said, um, I have my comic company. It's been me. I've been developing a lot of IPs over the years. And some are more developed than others. Like, take this character. I have the name, I have his look, and that's about it. Hey, Trusty, how are you? But eventually, this guy, I'm going to come up with a whole backstory or whatever. My orange Yoda. My tall orange Yoda. What I'm doing here is I had it with the gradients before. I'm taking out the gradients and I'm going to do some shading. Cool. Always good to recover from cooking and eating. However, I'm going to keep the eyes like that. I like the eyes like that. And I'll probably keep the lips too. Yeah. Uh, but that said, I do have a lot of characters that I do have back histories on. This guy's just not one of them. Do I want to do the guitar or not? You know what? I'm gonna leave the guitar for now. So let's see. Let's create new layer. Orange shading. New layer. Green shading. Red shading. White. Yes, it's supposed to be crooked. I don't know why it's supposed to be crooked, but it is. I was coming when I came up with it. I just wanted to do something alien looking to a guitar. I thought that would be weird, neat, whatever. I don't know how it would work as a musical instrument, but no. So we want to test the shades. I guess we'll go with that. Zoom in. It's something from the Jetsons. If it's actually in the Jetsons, I know I watched it as a kid, so maybe I got it there subconsciously. Okay, let's see. Grab that. That. Go there. There. So, what is the comic you're working on, Melter? If you want to tell us. Fantasy, sci-fi, cool. I like fantasy. I like sci-fi. Can you tell us anything about the story without giving too much away? And when do you plan on coming out with it? I guess too is another good question. Us. This elves, orcs, greys, space monkeys, giant robot wars. Cool. Hey Bob, how are you today? Oh, and people, I have watched the entire first season of the new She-Ra. It sucks. I think the major problem, well, besides the artwork, of course, is the fact that it's too kiddish. It's like for like 2-year olds, 5-year olds, something like that. Originally, it was going to be inside um, MMO, a multiplayer online game. Yeah, it was about toxic incitement of the game and the effects of the players. Well, that sounds like it was cool. It would be cool. And then you thought, hey, this sounds too much like that Player One. You got yourself a new computer? Cool, Bob. Do you like your new computer? Hey, Bob, I got myself a new 8 terabyte hard drive. Cool. That is very cool. Bob, you can turn your computer on. It's just that you can't see anything. Doesn't really help you, but you know, it is what it is, right? So, for everybody who celebrated Thanksgiving yesterday, how was it? Did you get enough to eat? Do we have somebody in? Hey, Todd, how are you?
Good, and you?
Good.
What's going on?
Not much. Just shading, doing better, a little bit better job with my shading through some color shading.
What program are you using?
Adobe Illustrator at the moment. I've divided my shading colors up
Why is your
into different
shading
layers.
seem to be the same color? Is it? No, I don't know. I can't tell.
There's the shading. It's a darker green than this.
Okay. All right.
And chatting with the chat. Let's see. P.S. Melder's telling me a little bit about his comic book that he's developing. Basically, Earth is no more hundreds of years of enslavement to the orcs. They are freed by Greys and live with dwarves and elves on their planet, but a new that appears far worse than the orcs. Let's see, my family is still around, and my nieces are destroying the house. So good, laugh out loud. I was just asking people how their Thanksgiving has gone
Yeah,
or what. How was yours?
mine was really good. Thank you. How about you, Rick?
For well, seeing as how mine was a month ago, it was good.
What do you guys call it?
Thanksgiving.
Get out of here.
And Melter says hello to you, Todd.
Hello, Melter. P.S. Melter.
So what are you drawing there? Or
I'm just doing some
kid?
inking. You know. See if I can add an extra layer of this.
Yeah, we have our Thanksgiving about 2 to 3 weeks before Halloween. But you guys have yours like what? A month before Christmas?
Yeah.
So, and it's only kids that are filling up on the candy on Halloween. You guys have major dinners like a month apart. And then depending on people's families or whatever, you could have a lot of major dinners for the Christmas one.
Right.
Throughout the month.
I don't know if I
And
like
then
that.
your different organizations, your different not organizations, businesses too, your
Right.
your work has a Christmas party, all those Christmas parties you have to go to. They all start right after Thanksgiving for you guys within a week or two. Hey Ray. So I think we were a bit smart that way, personally, but
Oh yeah. You're gonna claim smarts on that one?
yep.
Yeah. Okay. Just making sure.
In my not so ever humble opinion. Everybody else can, have their own opinion too.
Well, you think you might have just stolen your Thanksgiving from ours?
I don't know.
I mean, because nobody in the Mayflower landed in Canada.
Yeah, but we had the Vikings up here first, so
Yeah, but they didn't break bread with the Indians. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
That's what Thanksgiving's all about. Our Native American brethren. So I'm pretty much thinking that you guys just sort of thought, hey man, that's a neat idea. They have a day where they eat with their families. Let's have one.
Well, I was looking it all up yesterday for Todd, so not Todd, Bob. Sorry.
Bob, Bob Popio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, Ray's congratulating Bob, I guess, on getting his new computer. P.S. Melter. Mine is so redneck. Turkey, mac and cheese, stuffing, and beer. That's Vikings. The Vikings only broke bones, says P.S. Melter.
So when you
Yeah.
looked it up yesterday, what did you find? What is your significance to the Canadian Thanksgiving? Is there any?
I forget so soon.
Really? You
You guys,
forgot?
you guys,
Just admit it, Rick. I think we copied you Americans just for the day to have a good meal with our families. A? Yep, A. I don't know. My inking hand is not working right today. I get my hand warmed up.
oh, well, that's not good if your inking hand's not working.
It's working, but it's not giving me the line I want. It's
Well,
not warmed
that's
up yet. But whatever. These are just practice things. I don't even care if I ink them or not. Is Ray Escarcega in here?
Yeah, he said hi to you.
So you took a lot of crap yesterday, Rick.
Yep.
At least you take it in stride, buddy. Nobody mad.
Yeah.
Nobody. We just missed you, you know.
Yeah.
There was some
P.S. Melter
tears.
wants. What were we saying?
There was some tears.
Yeah. Melter's wanting to know, what are you inking?
I don't even remember the name of this. Is this General Holt or something like that?
I can't even see.
Is that his name? General Holt.
I have no idea.
Remember
That's from
how he calls and says, I'm holding for General Holt, and he's talking to him the whole time. He's just like getting a rise out of him. You know, the white pasty guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, sort of. This is what, from the newest Star Wars, or
Yeah,
from again?
This is the guy. This is the First Order. You know, when he's out there on the ledge, and they're all in the snow. He's giving that Hitler type speech.
I think I remember. There wasn't, to me, a lot of. I didn't mind the movies, but there wasn't a lot of memorable stuff.
What do you mean?
Or maybe it's I just haven't seen them enough yet. Melter's also insane. That's the deal. Is this a commission?
No, I just did these face studies because the people whose faces I did had interesting faces. It was nothing more than that. You know, these are just, look. There's 6 of them.
There's only 5 yesterday.
Or I'm sorry, 5 of them.
They're multiplying.
So they were just me trying to do little face studies. That's all.
They're like rabbits. They like to multiply.
Nothing more than that. You know. It's just good inking practice. I mean, I drew these at one point and then just decided that I would ink them, you know?
Yeah.
It's just a way of making sure you can follow your line, or better the line, your original line. You know what I mean? With thickness and...
Yeah. That's half what I'm doing here, too. With these people. Sort of practicing my... gaining new skills and practicing it. They're learning, seeing me slowly master these skills. Okay, Bob's back. He left. We didn't even realize you left, Bob. I know, we're bad.
Bob the Pope, you.
So, you probably haven't seen it, but did you see? Have you watched any of the new She-Ra?
No, I have no interest in watching the new She-Ra. I didn't watch the old She-Ra, and I'm certainly not going to watch the new one.
Okay. Well, I've seen the old She-Ra, so I want to see. I should watch the whole new season of She-Ra. It's just too kiddish. It's like for 5-year-olds, and 5-year-olds probably won't like it. And it's got a bit of a Magna feel. P.S. Melter says, I'm not watching new Sabrina either. I'm just watching old Sabrina. The 90s. Yeah. I'm not going to be touching the new Sabrina either myself.
Why not? Too dark for you?
Just from what I've heard.
Do you scare easy, Rick?
No. The only thing about horror movies I don't like is blood and guts. That's it. I can handle the rest of it. And it's not the blood and guts scare me. It's just like, ugh, creepy. I don't need to see blood and guts. For no reason.
Right.
Oh, he's saying Salem doesn't talk. That doesn't surprise me. Well, look at what they did to Riverdale. If you expected anything more out of these people, then I'm not sure what to say.
You don't know what to say, do ya?
No.
Just say, hey.
Hey. Actually, I could watch that with no problem. The Evil Dead, because I was watching what's the name of it? Walking Dead. I've read the comics. Everyone needs to learn from Voltron, says P.S. Melter.
Why is Voltron the one that they're doing right?
I think so. Hopefully.
Well, how come you haven't watched it?
I don't know.
I mean, is
Haven't
that
got
what he's
around
getting
to.
at? You haven't gone around to it yet, Rick.
I actually, before I want to watch any of the new stuff, you probably don't need to, but I'd like to go and watch all the old Voltron stuff first.
Really?
I know it was on as a kid and I watched it, but I don't remember the whole thing. So, and Melter says yes, they are doing it right. Well, this is good that they're doing it right. He's saying old Voltron is on Netflix too.
Oh,
Like
really?
the
The old
70s,
stuff? Is there?
like the 70s. I think it's 70s. Voltron series over the years. So, here, let's see. He's saying he thinks Voltron came out in the 80s. Let's find out. Voltron. Okay, yeah, it did originally come out in the 80s. I thought it was late earlier. The anime television series. Yeah. Okay, so it came out in the 80s. Cool. Is there a show you would reboot under guidance and protection? Is there an old TV show that you would like to come back with, some
Are we talking just cartoon?
uh, uh or he said show, so I guess it could be cartoon or not cartoon.
The George Lopez show.
Yeah. Either or. He said, huh, trying to think what would be a good show. All of the Family with Archie Bunker. Oh man, that show would be an SJW's nightmare. I remember them, but I don't think I've seen many of the cartoons, but I do remember it.
What?
Centurions, I do. He says he'd do Centurions. Nobody remembers him, but he loved them. Bill Cosby, yeah, maybe, but yeah, unfortunately nowadays, again another SJW nightmare. You couldn't get Bill. Well, you can't get Bill Cosby now because, well, obvious reasons. He's in jail at the moment.
Oh, I'm sorry. My TV, is it too loud?
I'm able to ignore it.
No, I
Yeah.
didn't even realize it.
Hey, people, is Todd's thing too loud for you?
I lowered it anyway. Cats in the chat?
No, Ray.
Uh,
Ray's here. Cat was here. I'd send her an invite. Meltzer says, Ray said he liked Family Matters. And Meltzer says, put it on the Bill Cosby show. Put it on Comedy Central. Bill Cosby's dating game.
yeah, so my inking hand is coming alive now.
And P.S. Meltzer says, hey, Ray. And Ray says, wow, Todd, I'm happy to see you too.
Did I not respond to Ray?
I don't know.
I mean, hi, Ray. I asked if he was here.
Oh.
I hope he doesn't mean I didn't. Oh, I mean.
Don't worry about it too much. It's hard to tell with these people what they mean half the time.
Ray, we love you, Ray. Keep coming back, Ray.
You're a ray of sunshine.
Where would we be without you?
Or is that a ray of darkness? let's see. Ray says, I love you too, Todd. Well, we're glad you love him.
Oh, please
Right.
don't. You never know.
Don't,
I mean, we don't.
don't feed the chat.
No, but I mean, one adult to another, you know. I don't even know how old Ray is, but I'm just saying we appreciate you having you here. He comes a lot to all of our shows, and that's important.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I know Ray is a friend of John's.
oh, he's like a relative, isn't he? That's right, I think. Or a pseudo relative, I don't know. Maybe John got him here in his truck. Just kidding. When John found me, I was on the streets of Mexico, and he stuck me in the back of his truck. I need some hairpin sables.
This sounds like Deliverance. What sounds like Deliverance? What's going on in the back of
Oh, it's Jumanji.
the original or the new one?
The new one. I've never seen it, so I just have it on in the background.
And Ray says, and now I'm his slave. Cut his grass and clean his pool. Well, that sounds like lots of fun, Ray.
Sounds like something John would make you do.
Ray, do you hear dueling banjos? Yes, we hear dueling banjos. Ray. Run, Ray, run! Why should Ray run from dueling banjos?
So, Rick, I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
Have you ever watched anything on my channel?
I think so.
You can be honest and say, no, I haven't gotten around to it yet.
I'm not gonna. I know if I have, it's only been like one stream or something like that, something
Yeah.
short, or you know.
Do you
I'd
have
have
Clip
to.
Studio?
Not at the moment. I want to get it. It's only like last time I looked, $63, so it's not
Yeah,
too
right.
bad of a price.
No, it's not.
I might get it in the next couple weeks. So, Alien Rocker. He's gonna rock your world.
So what do you guys think of my hair lines? Let me touch that off the...
Nice. That look good.
If you come to my channel, I'll teach you how to do this.
Sounds like it could be a hairy experience.
Hair raising, at least.
Yes.
Kind of like barn raising.
Melter says it's slick. Oh, but there we go. So that. And then we'll export.
When you're doing hair, Rick, you really have to loosen up. You have to have your inking hair ready, right? You really got to just feather them in there, loosen up. Make sure you make good pencil guides, you know, because you're really just trying to follow and sort of give that illusion of light, shadow, that you see. You know, I mean, there's multiple ways to do hair, but if you're going to do the fine line, realistic detail, you got to really loosen up that hand and get that curve, because you're really curving these feathered lines in such a way. If you do them slow, if you trace them like, they'll never look right. It has to be fast. You know what I mean? It can't be something that you trace over your pencil lines. You know, you just have to get a sort of a good feel for your tool and wing it. You know what I mean? Yeah, Todd, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. Let's see. Melter says everyone loves Homer Simpson's hair. And Ray says, yes. Thanks, Rick. Go on Todd's channel. Todd is really good, and you will learn a lot from him. Huh? I mean, I might have. I'm not sure whether it's just somebody else's channel. I thought I might have been on one of your streams. No, I did watch one of your streams.
The one with my daughter?
Yeah.
Really? That one? She's funny, huh?
When you're coloring the battling grandmas like about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
The house.
Yeah. I'm gonna do more drawing, some more coloring.
Page.
So is Ray ask Ray, is he a real relative of John's?
I think
Or
so.
maybe he can give us some insight to John. Why he
Yes.
can be so harsh. He can be so harsh sometimes.
I think it's half an act.
But he might have wanted to wait until he got to at least 80,000 subscribers before he started giving himself, you know, Pretoria type titles.
Well, other people have been giving him the titles like Raven and all that, or Joshua. Okay, Ray saying, Todd, when do you usually go on?
I've had a schedule of sort of Tuesday and sort of Sunday. Mostly. Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, Sundays is actually probably a good day to go on. A lot of people
Yeah,
don't go on Sunday.
but I'm gonna be doing more here eventually. I just I'm trying to learn everyone's sort of business, what they do. I don't want to step on anybody's toes, and I've done a little bit of that already by mistake, you know.
Yeah,
So
well, the one thing is, you're gonna probably no matter what you do, you're gonna step on somebody's toes accidentally. So you, in some ways, you just can't worry about it because I know when I first started doing this, I didn't want to. I was trying to. Uh, oh, how do I was trying to get a time slot where nobody else was, and then end up getting your somebody's always going to be on, so somebody's always going to be trying to do the thing that you're doing, so you just got to do it your way.
one good thing that happened yesterday is I got over 100 subs, so I ended up gaining about 40 subs just from the drawn and quartered. That was really cool.
That's good for sure.
Start for sure, you know, because I was around 60 something, like in the mid 60s.
Oh, you went from 60. You went from mid 60s to over 100 yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's good. Okay, Ray says, yes, I do more honestly like your show. Melter says, okay, I watched a video on John and Wallace posted after the D&Q fan edition. What is up with Comic Skate Girl? She got an instant exposure last week on PBS, and she's being harassed by both sides now. Okay, John and Wallace. I'm not sure who you're talking about with Comic Skate Girl.
Oh, I know of a John. You had John Wallace on your show. Do you remember?
Maybe.
He's the Mighty something guy, the Mighty Geek or Mighty something.
Okay, Tarot. No, the Mighty Geek is Terrence.
No, the Mighty something. Remember, I came on and I said, I have a character named the Mighty. Do you remember that?
Sort of, yeah.
And he was on your show. His avatar, all I could see is like the way he had to crop it. I could see the word Mighty.
And
I
he
think his
said,
real name is John Wallace, if I'm not mistaken.
and he said, Melter goes on to say, it sounds like a real to turn off to ever go on EVS stream. If jealousy on one end and hatred on the other runs off on the other, runs you off the internet. Yeah, I'm not sure what you're talking about offhand. I hate to say it.
Well, let me say this, right? Sometimes successful people will surround themselves with unsuccessful people that only serves to make them look better. Okay? So you take that for what it's worth. Now, and I'm not saying anything other than not everyone on that on anyone's show like that who's that big like EVS has the best intentions for every single person that's on there. You know what I mean? Like you wouldn't if you were successful, you wouldn't surround yourself with better people who just make you look more I mean, I don't want to come across wrong, but you want to be upstaged, right? Everyone get that? You don't want to end up being upstaged. So you wouldn't, if you were, say this was a beauty contest and everyone was like, wow, we really like this guy. He's really, really sexy looking. Well, then you wouldn't go putting, for instance, prettier people on your show than you, because then you're being upstaged. Or if this was a makeup show, you wouldn't, like a effect show, so to speak. Well, you're until you get really, really good, you wouldn't go be putting better people on your show if you had a huge following, because that might not serve. Imagine bringing people on your show and going, "This guy has his own channel. We're going to bring him on my show, and we're going to do some techniques together." And then, boom, all your followers go over to his follower. It's just, I don't want to say it's not. I'm not saying it's bad business, but it's like, um, you know, get your house in order, get your fans, give them what they want, but don't create a situation where you get upstaged by somebody. And so that's why EVS brings a lot of humor, people who bring the humor around him. His art is very detailed. He's been doing this for 25 years. Do you think he'd have Travis Charest as a regular guest on his show to come draw with him or something like that? That's just an example. No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't want to get upstaged every time he pulled out his pencils. This wouldn't happen. Do you get me, Rick?
Yeah. Well, it depends on some ways. It depends on your personality too, because
Right. And I'm reading his
what,
personality a little
what,
bit.
what I yeah, what I mean is also too. Sometimes having somebody better than you can bring in more viewers
Oh, right.
too. So
But you're talking about a different stage. You're talking about a guy who's now very successful on YouTube. You're not
yeah,
talking about a guy starting out. No, we're starting out. It behooves us to
yeah,
bring better people on to our channels, right? But if you have that kind of a following, there's not a chance in hell you'd see if EVS was good friends with Travis Charest, he wouldn't have him on all the time drawing. Like, okay, we're gonna do live streams, me and Travis drawing. You know what? People are gonna want to watch Travis. Travis' technique is just impeccable. You know?
Yeah. Well, it's the question. It's not only having them on all the time. It's I'm not sure what it.
But
Hey, Bethany.
you kind of get what I mean, right?
Yeah.
So some of that shtick that's going on over there is what you would call shtick. You know, let me get this Nasser kid on who writes a lot. His writing's not so, it's not horrible. And let me get this guy on who brings a little levity. And let me get this guy on who is a colleague of mine who's a good artist too, and let me create a little community. But that community has sort of a purpose.
Melfer's saying he has Malin and Miller on there a lot, and they are good artists.
Very good artists.
With that said, ZHC, I'm not sure who's ZHC, Zach Hawkins maybe, draws with Jazza and Whitet Manga have a bigger sub following. They would benefit from going on EVS's show. Yeah. And he says, hi, Bethany. They would benefit. They would not benefit. Sorry. Well, it's hard to say whether they would benefit because it could be different subs, new subs that could be brought to the table. Bethany says they wouldn't benefit. They would have a huge amount of subs and offer more. Yeah, I don't know who the people are that you're talking about exactly. I'm just saying, and I'm not sure, obviously, that EVS might not. They could get subs off EVS that EVS wouldn't have, or that they wouldn't have, and vice versa. ZHC just hit 200K. I think. What? Wow. Wow. EVS should try and get on there. We should try and get on there.
So my point really was about you surround yourself, like for instance, my co-host I picked because he's funny. You have to surround yourself with a cast of people, and I don't mind being upstaged by comedy, but you know what I mean? I don't color. For instance, I don't color that well yet. I'm getting better. So if I were to bring a better colorist onto my show, the purpose it would serve is to teach me techniques. But I wouldn't pick a better colorist to be my co-host because he would just upstage me every time. You get me? That's a good example of what I mean. I'm not going to pick somebody who's just going to blow me out of the water and make me feel impotent about my coloring ability. I understand it's not that good yet. So my goal would be to maybe do an interview with somebody who's better than me, sort of glean any kind of information I could get out of them, but I ain't going to have them hanging around. You know what I mean? That ain't gonna serve me.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll just feel lost in watching him. Because I'm a fan too, guys. You know, and if I see somebody doing something I can learn something from, I'm gonna take my eye off the ball and learn it. You know, and put my eye on them. And I don't mean to sound sort of I don't know how to say, but you know, I know my abilities. You know what I mean? I'm a passable colorist. I watch plenty of other people color to make sure I learn. I have all kinds of videos saved to watch before I get going on my pages, so that I make sure I color them better. You know.
Yeah.
So if I ever do
Let's
bring
see.
one on my show, it'll be more of an interview and more of a way of seeing if I can learn something through osmosis or technique or something.
Yeah. Let's see. Ray says there's always going to be somebody better than somebody else. Just bring a good personality, and people will like you for you and sub to you because your personality. Bethany says ZCH is an Asian guy that was drinking Copic ink yesterday, correct? Melter says yes, Bethany. Says, I hope he's okay. Ray says, Manny is good, but I don't like his personality. He gets too easily offended. Melter says, I'm working on my comedy into doing drawings for funny videos for views to gain subs, then showcase my work of my comic. I'll say this, Todd, there's a better way than me.
And that's how I feel right now. You know, that's why I'm not pushing out content every day. I don't have it yet. I'm not comfortable yet. You think I want to be called sleepy all the time? You know, I got to get my enthusiasm up. I got to make sure I do it at the right time. What's the best time for me? The best time for me is not at 3 a.m. on Manny's channel. You know, the best time for me is like now, afternoon. I've had my coffee. I got my hand going. This is when I should be drawing on my show. But God damn it, Rick takes all the noon times. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, Rick. I'm kidding. But you see what I mean? It's like I know when my cadence is just right for doing this, you know, and I'm learning that. Like, when am I comfortable? Who isn't comfortable on a Rick show? You know, Rick is a great guy, and I enjoy coming on here. I don't come on here enough, you know. And
Yeah.
then there are other shows that go on. Like, I enjoy Manny's show and I feel comfortable, but I do feel sleepy. I'm on the East Coast, people. He's in Hawaii, you know.
Yeah,
So
it's 6 hours difference.
right. I mean, you know, we've watched your head bob. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
and it doesn't help that I get up, a few hours later and get on John's.
right, like, oh right, and I get a hangout invite to John's, and I have only been sleeping for 4 hours. I feel bad that I'm not on John, you know. So this is a balance, man. I'm trying to find it, but
Yeah,
my show needs to have me at the perfect cadence because I don't want to be told, Todd, you sound sleepy, or you sound this way, or you sound that way, because I'm trying to bring it, you know, and I'm gonna
it, it,
find it.
yeah. The thing is, there's always going to be something that they label with you. Somehow you've got to find a way to embrace it and
Oh yeah, I don't mind.
let it work for you, not against you. It's the sexy Rick thing. You
Right,
know,
right, right.
I'm letting try. I'm not the best with that, but I'm gonna try and make it work for me. The whole trader thing yesterday, I'm making it work. You're gonna try and make it work for me, not against me.
You gonna draw a Canadian mountain police that you call the traitor? It's not a bad idea all of a sudden, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I see what you mean, and I don't mind the whole getting picked on about that, you know. But that's not going to serve my show. I know where it comes from, right? I know where I'm not a fool, you know. I know where it comes from. So, well, I mean, it started with me in my chair, but there's a little bit beyond that of just my chair, right? There's a little bit more to it than that. So, because I sit a certain way or whatever, that's not a big deal to me at all. But the cadence of it, I've been noticing on some streams, and I gotta bring it. You know, I have to bring it, and that's my goal. You know, so when you see me do more is when I've sort of have a feel for this better, and I'll get on more, and I'll do more, and I'll just draw live, and I'll color live, and I'll you know, I'll do more interviews once I have it down better. I don't want to bust out crap content, by the way, people. It's not my goal. You know, my goal is to give you good content. Okay, I think these top 3 figures, I can shut off the pencils. What do you think, Rick?
Okay, wait a sec.
Perfect.
Okay. Oh yeah, they're looking great. Actually, I was gonna yesterday, if I wasn't late, I was gonna do something. I was gonna try and do for the first time ever. I think on either fan edition or main edition, pro edition. I was gonna do mixed media. I was gonna draw up my thing, you know, on
Yeah.
pencils. Then I was gonna take it to my scanner and scan that in and ink it digitally.
Right.
But didn't
That would
get
have
to
been
that.
fun.
Yeah. Let's see. What do we got here? Catch up with chat. Bethany says, you are good. Todd, you are good. P.S. Melter, hashtag blame Rick, laugh out loud. Bethany says, most of it is a label. That's how they love you. And then we got P.S. Phil. Some people don't like to talk and draw. Some people like to talk and draw, some don't. Then Bethany says, you coming across as sleepy is hilarious, even if it drives you nuts. And then let's see, Bethany says, but those of us that know you know how serious you are about your artwork. P.S. Melter says, the Justifiable League of Alabama, starring Captain Marlboro, PR, PBR Boy, and Mrs. Stars and Bars. Copyright pending. Okay, I'm not sure what that was all that. Bethany, you don't bust out crap content. In other words, you put out good content, Todd. Ray says, true, Bethany is right, but we love Sleepy Todd. We know Todd is good at what he does. Friendly Neighborhood Ninja says, you guys are doing wonderful work. And of course, then you say, thanks, Bethany, very much.
I appreciate you guys. You know, all these names that are in here are names that are on my subscription list. And without you guys, you know, talking, you know, obviously you have to come on here and pretend like you're talking to a 10,000. But if you were actually talking to none and you looked and you realized the only one watching your show is you, it would have an effect on you. You know, it would have like, oh, I guess I don't really need to talk. But if you have a show planned and you have an idea of what you're going to do, you have to actually just execute, because you don't know how many 10, you know, what in the next 10 hours, how many people are going to watch it and enjoy it that way. Not everyone can do it with you live.
True.
You know, it's a delicate balance, you know. I mean, I enjoy it and I'm enjoying it more than I thought I would. But the downside is I have a work schedule, so to speak, as far as you know, I'm doing things in the background that I can't even put on here,
Yeah.
and deadlines and things. So, you know, the balance is making sure that I give you guys enough to keep you realize. You know, I've looked at some channels. Just for just you know, if you go to Bethany's channel, she just did something recently, but there's been years between some of the things she's done, you know. And now you're in a different boat, by the way. I'm not saying that, but when the call is to execute and create a campaign around a character in a
Yeah.
book, and the idea of breaking the veil between creator and people who enjoy you, and for instance, let's call them fans or whatever, um, you want to bring enough content so they're engaged, so they realize like, oh, I'm in it with him. You know, he's showing me right now. He's over there drawing a page or inking a page, and we know what to expect when the book comes. And then the idea is creating. You know, if you're not a fan until a certain point, you go, you know what, Todd's work or this book I'm into, and I'm a fan, and I'm gonna buy it. Then I need to keep you. So I need to keep. You know, it's sort of I gotta keep doing this beyond that. You know, beyond that campaign, right? Beyond that initial, hey, I've got this campaign, ignition's about to drop. I've kept you engaged. You've been watching me on my channel. You see me on the other shows. Um, Here's where it starts. Boom. Now I got to keep you, and I got to sort of keep
Yeah.
you and build you and get you even more interested in. Okay, you just saw the first villain. Now you're about to see the second villain. So you're tuning in, and that's why I changed the name of my channel to Get Tuned In, because really it's, you know, my plan is to do Ignition for a while, right? My plan is to do Ignition as long as you like it. And if I hit that right note with the very first book or the very first campaign, then I got you, and I got to keep you. You know, and so
Yeah.
it has to get more interesting. It has to get better, or at least I got to keep bringing whatever I brought to get you there. I got to keep bringing it then after that.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
I really got
there's
you.
no doing this without you guys. You know, there's no 100 subs is not gonna uh, get this book, the campaign
Funded.
through. Yeah, it's not gonna get it funded. You know, 100, but to get 40 in one day, or close to 40, say about 35 in one day, that's excellent. That really helped. And the idea of moving the Drawn and Quartered around to other shows is an example of very smart marketing, and, you know, putting all of our eggs into a basket with each other, and becoming friends, and becoming pals, and helping each other out. You know, for all the crap I take, there's nothing I wouldn't do for John, by the way. You know, I don't mind taking a little crap in for the fun of it, for the chat of it, for what it creates. Um, None of that bothers me, by the way. And I'll give it back a little bit, you know, or at least to let him know he's sort of stepped over a certain line. But there's nothing, you know, these guys mean a lot to me as far as what we have planned, what we're talking about behind the scenes, and I got their backs, and hopefully they have mine. You know, these are all good guys. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think part of what Rick's saying about John having sort of a persona, or some of it's an act, is that exactly, you know, I think he's exactly right. And I recognize that, you know. Manny's just a sweetheart. He's just a nice guy. He's like Rick. Who wouldn't want to come on Rick or Manny's show? You know, they're just two nice guys just trying to draw for you, and bring you what they can bring you, you know. Tank is a wealth of information, and knowledgeable, and even more pro. He's even done more than me. You know, he's been more published than I have. So Tank's a resource in that sense. You know, when you know somebody's a resource, then you pull them into your circle, because you never know when, you know, when you're going to need, or vice versa, trade. You know, would I want a Tank to do a piece for the campaign? Absolutely. You know, or even some of these other guys. But he's, you know, he's a valuable resource. So it's like, you know, whatever Tank asks me to do, I'm going to do, because I have questions um, to ask Tank eventually. Eventually, Tank has the information. He's doing the research, and he's going to save me time from having to do it. Who else is part of our community? Oh, some of these extra players, like, is it Bill? Bill's going to be part of it, right?
I think so, or Brad.
Uh, or Brad, or is it Bill? I think it's Bill.
Might be both.
Yeah. Either way, those guys are just, you know, guys sort of on the outside. We don't get on their channels a lot because they don't do a lot, or they don't do the daily. But you'll see us on our on their channels. These guys are nice guys too. Um, you know, this is this. There's the, you know, there's no community. There's not a door that's closed to anybody. You know, this is sort of a, you know, if you, well, let me say this: if you're passionate about this and if you've put in the work to get to a certain point, then you're welcome. If you haven't put in the work and you're not at that point, you're also welcome, because we can help you. Nobody's saying, you know, these aren't, I mean, we're not of above a certain stature where, like, you don't pass it down. You don't give it out. I have a ton of resources, for instance. I have a ton of resources in a different way, as far as coloring, as far as I have a sort of a place where you have a, I forget what it's called, but it's basically, you can take a body or you can take a head, and they put it in a box, and then you take light that you turn on the different lights. So there's this, it's almost like a cage. So say you put a figure in there, and you really can't pose the figure, but that's sort of coming soon. But you put this figure in this box, whether it's male or female of your choice, and then you hit certain lights. So say you wanted one light from the top and then one light from the bottom, and you would see how that light would affect that. And that'll help you with your shading and choosing your positive and negative. So yeah, I have resources that I go to. I don't even go to them that often. You know, sometimes I just wing it, you know, but that's not something I willingly share those resources, you know,
Yeah.
and I'm willing to just do a hangout, a private hangout with anybody who feels like, you know, Todd, I watch you work I watch you work on Clip Studio, and I see you have some tools that don't come with it. You know, can you share those things? And there are streams where I've shared the best tool makers for Clip Studio that I find. There might be some tool makers I haven't found yet, but this Clip Studio thing is way different than Photoshop as far as integration of outside sources. Now, granted, there's a lot of really good Photoshop brush makers, and I have a lot of those brushes. But as far as these, let me go to this page here, and these are add-ons. Oops, what the hell? What the heck happened?
Okay. Let me just catch up with the chat here.
All right.
Okay, Friendly Neighborhood Ninja says, "Hey, sometime I'll have you guys over on my channel. It'd be awesome to have you on. Just
Oh,
send
absolutely.
me a link on Twitter anytime you're on live. If I'm around, I'll jump on." And then he says, "No dead air." Melder says, I removed all of my face in I removed all of mine because my face is on all of them and I don't want my face out there." I guess that's his videos on his channel. Destiny
Mm-hmm.
says, "I just babble because I don't know anything." And Melter just says, plus the vids were me playing bass covers, and I've moved on from music back into comics. Cool. I mean, you still could have kept them. That way, it'd been something to bring in subscribers for you. But again, that's something other else. Ray says, "Yeah, yeah, is all love chat if they are art make if they are making fun of you, and I ain't talking about you, and you want to be talked about." Friendlyhood Ninja says, I think it's awesome being able to draw with you guys and work on new comic ideas. It's been one of the best experiences of my life. Bethany says, you all have something to offer the community. Ray says, man, he's really good, but he lashes out at his fans. Bethany says, that's what makes it cool. P.S. Melder says, it can't be as bad as Booster getting mad at me when I called him called him Zach Bar Balsamar. Hey Tank, and Tank says, "Hey folks, Tank, there's a link in Twitter if you want to come on, if you
You
can."
just missed us gushing over you, Tank. Talking about you're a resource and stuff, you know, and a person who's been around, been published more than I have. But anyway, so here, right? These are some of the tools. When you see this little green cloud above above these little imports, it means you don't have it. But say I wanted to grab this one, it's gonna automatically tell me I don't have it. So yes, I want to download it. It goes to this screen for whatever reason. You just have to minimize it. Okay, and now that cloud is gone, right? So say I wanted to put this on a piece of clothing, and I've think of this as you using the lasso to choose a piece of clothing that you wanted it on. Then you just go in and drop it. Boom, now it takes up that square, right? So let me show you a different way where I actually put it on a piece of clothing. Now I know I'm doing something here real small, but just bear with me. You'll get the idea of this program and its in the power of Grayskull. So I just take this little piece and I've lassoed it. Now it's highlighted, and I want to put cheetah print on his jacket. Boom, it's that easy. Now, obviously that doesn't work because this is sort of a flat, almost sort of wallpaper type-esque thing. But there are things in here that if you manipulate them enough, if you really wanted to use that pattern, you could make it work. But it's right now, it's not even multiplied. Once you multiply it, you can see the lines come back. The black comes back, you know? So let me find one that might work actually, just to show you for an example. Let's see here.
Let's see. P.S. Melder says, my covers were bad. I was drunk all the time. Yeah, I wasn't very professional and hung around musicians that played and drank all the time. Not a pretty moment, even if it was fun at the time. Well, if you're passionate about your music and comics, make your channel about both. You know, that way you can draw in two different crowds and mix the crowds. And it gives you more resources to draw from to get people.
All right, let's do something here that might make some sense. All right, it ain't gonna make sense below it, but I'm gonna put a border around this.
What's up, guys?
What's
Not
up,
much
Tank?
yourself. How are you, Tank?
I am okay. How are you guys doing?
I'm
We're doing great, Tank. All right, so I'm gonna go in here and grab everything that's not closed off. Ooh, I don't like that. Not good.
What are you doing, Tank? What are you
I
drawing
am.
anything there, or?
I am waking up.
Oh, waking up is good.
Yeah, it was a late one last night.
Yeah, I can believe that. So, how'd Thanksgiving go for you?
Good. We continue today.
You continue Thanksgiving today?
That's right. We do a thing where we get a whole bunch of food and over like well, pretty much over the whole weekend, the wife and I are in the kitchen. We were just constantly putting food out because we got people coming and going and stuff like that. So it's just like, dude, we're short order. We're not short order cooks. We're buffet cooks. We got the buffet items like already ready to go.
That's cool.
Oh yeah, it's definitely some fattening. Fattening.
All right, I might be able to get this now. Hold on. Wow. Why is not closed off? That's weird. Oh, I see it. I see it. I see it. I see it. I see it.
Yes, today is day one of the animals Thanksgiving, where they get where we take all the leftover like little bits of meat and stuff from the turkey. Turkey looked like it was a victim in one of those Critters movies from the 80s. Nobody watched those?
Yes, Michael Gross, right?
Yeah, with a
Kevin
little
Bacon.
yeah, little balls of fur that would roll around and just devour everything. It's like
Yeah.
somebody watched The Dark Crystal and said, "Dude, I could totally make Fizzgig scary."
Right?
Let's
No
see.
one's gonna know that reference.
Melter says,
All right,
did
here we
he
go.
fattening or fapping? Is someone doing the war campaign challenge for Rainbow Brute?
No, 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 no. Fattening.
Okay, here we go.
Foxtrot Alpha Tango. Fat.
So I don't have this one, right? I don't have this cloud, so I'm gonna have to download it. It's not gonna be there. It's gonna say, okay, yeah, I want to download it. I don't know why it does this, but it does. It happens almost instantaneously. But so I'm gonna throw this in here. Basically, what I've done is oh, let me do it over again. Let me show everybody over again. Oh, what happened so quickly? I like actually how it looks. But that's the idea of these little things and how you can manipulate them. I'll do it all over again from scratch, right? Let me lessen this. It doesn't need to be that friggin' big. Go in here a little bit. What I did is I took the magic wand and I closed all these drawings off. So there's no holes in the hair or anything like that. And I actually joined them together. Not a big deal. These were just practice inks. So now you see how it chose all this around the character. I can actually make the selection go underneath by expanding that. I don't want to do 2. I want to do 3. Expand it by 2. So now what I'm about to do is going to be under the blacks once I multiply it. Boom. And I just got to change that to multiply. Now it's 3. What it is 2 pixels under the black, And if I want, I mean, that's just to show you that how some of these little additions work as far as Clip Studio. Now, granted, he's not outside, but I mean, it's just an idea of if you drew a character outside and you wanted some clouds, but you're not a colorist, but you can color, say you can color figures. This is sort of the simplistic way of almost like a little bit of a cheat. You know, Clip Studio did it for you. And that doesn't mean you can't go on this layer and manipulate it. I can change those clouds. I can change that sky to pink, you know, and those clouds to gray. You know what I mean? Just got to know how to do all that. But Clip Studio is an amazing little program.
Yeah, it is, especially for its price. I mean, it's a very big value.
Now, when I'm doing my pages, I don't get too effects heavy, or you know, you're still working in a medium that's dominated by traditional ways of doing things. So yeah, I don't get overzealous with this program at all. You know, just trying to create. And it's not, but I'm not saying I've never used these things. I have used these things. I just use them sort of creatively or skillfully where it might work. You know, just so that I save time. You know, sometimes it's about budget and time. You know, you budget something, and you price it out, and you're like, okay, well, he didn't bite on that price, so there's a few little things I know I can do to not have it take as much time, because even as a freelance, you want to make sure you're paid for that, at least your time. You know what, when you're barely right, Tank, you're rarely paid for your talent. You're paid for your time if you're lucky. If you're lucky.
Yeah. No, I always tell people, I said, look, regardless of your skill level, never charge less than your local minimum wage. Don't discount yourself. If you're going to do something for money, have it count as a real job. If not, then, and if you have trouble getting that work, well, then, you know, put your nose to the grindstone and get to practicing. Come over here, come to Todd Mulrooney's channel, come to Good Dog Press. You know, places like this, we run digital dojos, man. We're here to grow ourselves, to grow our fans, to grow amateurs, to grow professionals. We just want it all to be better.
Yeah. The better it is, the better we look.
Here's I'm going to give you guys a little insight onto some marketing stuff. All right. So comic books, for the last quarter of a century or so, the number of comic book readers, well, not even quarter of a century, last 20 years. The last 20 years is actually more accurate. So the last 20 years, because the 5 years before that, it was still growing. For the last 20 years, the comic book readership has been stagnant at about 3 million comic book fans, with about 500,000 comic book fans being regular buyers. It's actually less now. There's less than 400,000 regular comic book buyers right now, which means that there's over 2.5 million people out there who are into comic books who aren't picking them up, for various reasons, mostly being that comic books don't grab their attention anymore. Not enough. It's not good enough to pull them away from Netflix. It's not good enough to pull them away from the movie theater.
It's not good enough to pull them away from YouTube.
It's true, though. But a market, when you have a stagnant market like that doesn't exist naturally. And we all know the reason why we're here, why we're with the whole Comicsgate thing, is because the quality of comics is so atrocious in the for the mainstream that a change has to be made. You know,
absolutely.
And especially with comic book movies being so insanely popular right now. Like, they're more popular than Harry Potter when Harry Potter came out. So you have to ask yourself, as somebody who looks at the commercial aspect, looks at the marketing aspect of this, and go, dude, Iron Man was a blockbuster movie. How come Iron Man comics aren't flying off the shelves? Even, we all gripe about it and whatnot, the new Justice League movie, right? It was still a successful movie. Why are Justice League comic books not flying off the shelves?
So they're going off the shelves faster than Iron Man.
Well, and we find that Marvel was found dumping a bunch of their trades into the discount market, that's as a business, you want to sell those issues, even if you want to sell your product, even if you can't sell it on general market. That's why things like Wish exist, and Overstock.com and other websites like that. At that point, they're not trying to make a profit; they're trying to recuperate their losses.
Right.
I can't be angry at Marvel for that.
You live where? Where do you live, Tank?
I live in Oregon.
Oregon. Oh, I found a chain of bookstores that were all over Florida, almost like what the hell is it called? Barnes and Noble, but not to that scale. But everything in there was. You know how you walk into a Barnes & Noble and there's a lot of discounted books right there in the front on tables and in certain type style racks that they have, not racks, but shelving that they have, and right on it 60% off. Well, that's because those books have been discounted and stuff like that. But this place was a place, and I forget the name of their store. I bought some things there that was all discounted. Everything. They had Funkos, they had toys, they had everything that Barnes & Noble had, but they had it, like you walked in knowing this is a discount book place.
Oh, nice.
And I forget the name of it.
Yeah, we used to have a chain of those in Los Angeles area that were really nice.
We just finally got a Hobby Lobby in one of our malls here.
Ooh.
And I've been in it once, and I walked around and wanted to make sure I knew what they had, and just so I didn't like I don't like to wait for things to come in the mail. If I need it, I want to know where I can get it. So I went over there, and what do you know? I find out yesterday during Thanksgiving dinner that it's got a huge footprint at this mall. And this mall, when I went in there that day, looked very healthy. I'm like, wow, all these stores that used to be full are back, back in here. Empty. They're back in here. And it was because they lowered their rent, and they realized malls are going away. And if we want to keep some stores in here, the best thing we could do is meet them like in the freaking middle, at least, but Hobby Lobby is going to leave. They're just not doing big enough business. And I'm like, wow, that sucks.
Well, a lot of business owners, they fail to adapt to the modern electronic infrastructure that's in place. Amazon is exceedingly intelligent at how it does its retail outlets. Despite all the technology and stuff, because not all Amazon retail outlets are you walk in and it automatically charges you. There are standard Amazon retail outlets that are not as high tech, and it is a boutique first and retail outlet second. So it's there to show off the product, because you could always just order it from Amazon. And it's there. Okay, yes, we do have product on hand here as well. And more stores are starting to do that. They're starting to get their storefronts up. They sell stuff through Amazon. Amazon is a giant beast. but it is the number one marketplace. It's you got two major online marketplaces that compete with each other: Amazon and Alibaba. Amazon is a fantastic place to shop if you're a consumer, and if you're a producer, then you want to shop on Alibaba. Because on Alibaba, that's where you can get all the really cool things.
Is that even American? Because I'm not even sure I've heard of it.
Oh, yeah, Alibaba.com. It is run by China. That is where I go to look at manufacturers and talk to them. Like, for instance, for my keychains and those little figurines and stuff. You can go. Alibaba has, just like Amazon, Alibaba has its own insurance, so its own consumer protection. So, say you ordered a bunch of little 28 millimeter scale miniatures, right? Custom, and they came out all wonky, and they came out wrong, and the manufacturer assured you that they would be high quality, right? You can buy low quality stuff and it'll say, expect defects, because you're skimping on the budget there. But you're buying the high quality stuff, you have the Alibaba protection. That means that if you have a complaint, you can take it to the company and say, hey, fix this. Before I go to Alibaba with it, and they'll be like, yes, we'll fix it. Because if you go to Alibaba and complain to them, that gets the Chinese government involved. And they come down on those manufacturers real hard with heavy fines for not producing stuff that's up to the quality that they're supposed to produce it.
Tank, where do you usually get your sketch cards from, or do you have a place? Do you get sketch cards? I guess too.
Sketch card. Well, sketch cards haven't been real popular for a couple of years, so I really haven't done that. Before, I used to just go to my local art store and just order them. If they didn't have them in stock, I would just order them.
Or cut down some good paper.
Yep. Or I would go to my local printer with and just go, hey, I need a stack of this paper, this sized, this weight, and this type of material, and they're like, okay, cool. And then I just pay for the paper. They do all the cutting for free.
Cool. Because I was just wondering, because although I did grab them already, I got 100 of them for 33 and change. $33.95 plus shipping from Blue Line Pro.
Oh yeah, Blue Line is they're pretty pricey, but their products are always real good.
So I was just wondering whether I paid too much or not. Well, when you turn it out to Canadian, I probably paid too much. Came to with shipping and all that came to like $60, $63, I think.
All right, so it costs you 63 cents a piece at that raw. So, no, that's good. No, because you want to sell a sketch card from, depending on your, you want to sell a sketch card for like $5 to $10. So, no, that's on the low. So that's not too bad. You have a good profit margin there. The rest of that is your labor. So your materials cost is, if you want to include ink, rubber from your eraser, and all that other fun stuff, you could round it up and say 70 cents.
Yeah.
And go, okay, cool. So if I charge $5, then I'm making, if I charge $5 plus shipping, okay, well then I'm making, $4.30 on that, which is, at that point it's like, okay, cool. It shouldn't take you more than half an hour to knock out a sketch card. You know what I mean? That way
Yeah.
you're properly compensated for your time as well.
I'll be right back, guys.
All right. Yeah, and at a convention you would change that to like $7 or $10 to cover your convention expenses. That's why convention stuff is so expensive.
Well, yeah, that's why. Well, that's if you sell the original artwork for it. You make. I'm thinking more for make the sketch card up. Draw it on the sketch card and then get it to digitalize it and then get it to a printer. To make prints of it, for lack of a better way of saying it.
Oh yeah. Well, at that point, what you want to do if you're going to do printing, if you're going to print out like trading cards or sketch cards, you want to work on just like you do with comics. You work on that 10 by 15 viewable area that translates to a 6 by 9 viewable area inside your comic.
Yeah.
You want to do the same thing with you want to keep the same aspect ratio of your card. Usually, gosh, cards are about the same. It all depends, really. They're usually the same aspect ratio as a comic page. I'm thinking I would really have to look and measure them out, but it should be 2 to 3.
Hey guys, I gotta go. Okay.
Alrighty, Todd.
Okay.
All right. Sorry, I have to go do something.
No
All
problem.
right, no
Suck, guys.
worries. You have a good one.
Jumping in
You
here.
too.
Bye, Tank. Bye,
Thanks,
Rick.
man.
No problem.
All right. So if you guys like Todd Mulrooney's work, I do highly recommend you go check out his channel, Ignition. Get tuned in. You can also find him on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook at Mulrooney Todd.
Yeah, I think I got it. Well, I haven't got his thing in the description, but I'll have it in there in a few minutes. But I've been on for just. What were you gonna say?
Digging on your artwork, dude. I'm digging it. I love it.
Yeah, I'm gonna be getting them all about the same size and putting them on. Making myself a new banner
Sweet.
for Cross Comics YouTube.
There you go, man. Heck yeah.
So I've been on here just over 2 hours, so I think I'm going to get off for a bit because I'm probably going to go on around 7:30 because I want to make up for the last couple of days that I have not been able to do my nightly thing, my nightly live draw stream. So I'm gonna do my anime/manga drawing, and then I'm gonna go from there and do my Marvel drawing that I was supposed to do yesterday, and then I'm going to from there do my sci-fi character right afterwards, 3 in a row, and I'm doing G-Force.
Awesome.
Doing G-Force for my manga/anime. I don't know what I'm doing for Marvel yet. And I don't know what I'm doing for sci-fi yet. But I've got my G-Force reference all done. So remember, everybody, like this, subscribe, hit the notification bell, check out all the links in the description. Check out all the different channels that are linked in the description. And subscribe. I'm sure they will all appreciate it. And I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in today. And hail Joshua, not Raven. Okay, so see everybody later today. Bye for now. God bless. Have a great, wonderful day. Oh,